I've been having this vision. I've been having this vision. Either rise or you fall. I'm on a mission, bringing my dreams to fruition. I ain't playing at all. Bring out the body bags. I'm about to kill them, deliver them to the mortician. I gotta do what I gotta do. That's for my fish, back in my face. I gotta do what I gotta do. I pray to God, he never came. I'ma do me, I'ma do me. That's in my blood, I never change. That's in my blood, I never change. That's in my blood, I never change.
Welcome to the WSL post show here at the Outerknown Tahiti Pro. And we had a big day. The wind kind of was a little spoiler this afternoon. However, we got some big heats done. We got some big news for you. And we have all the happenings here from the end of the road. Ioranna and Maeva, welcome here. I'm Kaipo. This is former tour veteran Laura Enever. Good to see you, Laura. Thank you for joining me.
Thanks, Kaipo. What an arvo.
And, of course, the Hall of Famer, Peter Mel. Thanks for joining me, Pete.
Good afternoon, Kaipo. Wouldn't do it without you, bud.
Oh, yeah. We had a big day, you guys. Big day. And we're looking at that Final Five for the women. And some clinching happened today. Tatiana Weston-Webb made it happen. She had to make it to the quarterfinals. She had a heat against Isabella Nicol. And Tatiana rose to the occasion.
She did. This was a tough heat. You know, we looked at Tati in this heat as someone that would have come out and been the favourite, but Isabella Nichols had her up against the wall until the very end. Both of the girls couldn't find an open barreling wave, so they had to go to turns. And in the end, it was very, very tight. Tatiana, this turn right here was what got her through this big critical surfing in the pocket, coming down and, you know, just being unafraid of that reef. It's what we're used to seeing from Tatiana, but, you know, making it happen in this turn here, throwing buckets and doing enough to clinch her spot once again in the WSL Final 5.
Yeah, really close heat between the two. 6.34 for Tati, 6.17 for Isabella. Now we can take a look at our Final 5 picture, Peter, and we got big news again. Two more surfers have clinched their spot in that Final 5, Pete.
Yeah, by the virtue of what happened today, we saw Steph go all the way to the quarterfinals from yesterday's heats, but today we saw the clinch happen for her as well as Tatiana, but we still have one spot, Kaipo, and it's going to be a good one to get that last spot.
Yeah, one more spot left, and Brisa Hennessy is still in line for that one spot, but she's got some work to do right now, guys. But she got her work done today, Laura. She got past on, you know, Gabrielle Bryan in a really inconsistent heat. Real strategy, but Brisa with a buzzer beater in this heat. It stepped up to the moment, Laura.
This was one of my favourite heats of the day. You know, obviously, Brisa Hennessy getting the biggest score of the women's event. Gabrielle Bryan had her up against the wall, and in a pressure-filled situation, yeah, Brisa needed quite a score, and she waited and waited. Gabby here, you know, the rookie on tour, just showing that she can charge hard, but Brisa getting this wave in the dying moments, pulling under the hood here and getting the barrel of the morning in the women's competition. And, you know, that is a confidence boost for Brisa Hennessy. She needed this. Her back was against the wall. Her spot in the Final 5 relied on her getting that wave and making it. And it came through. She committed, and she got the best barrel she's had out here at Teahupo'o.
Yeah, 7-point ride, locked in a space in the quarterfinals. You can see the brackets right now. But Peter, that quarterfinal number 4, that's going to be for that final spot in the Final 5. Brisa Hennessy versus Lakey Peterson. Pressure in that quarterfinal number 4.
Unbelievable. I mean, literally, your destiny is in that last heat, which is what we wanted to see. I mean, they both were sitting at number 5 and 6, right? That's the spots that you need to get into, and now they get to surf for it. I mean, what better scenario that you would have to be able to surf for your spot?
And that's exactly why we reseed into the quarterfinal, okay? Is to set up those kind of challenges, and that's going to make it so exciting, Laura.
Yeah, and Lakey Peterson, she was vocal in her post-heat interview. You know, she got the news that she was coming up against Brisa, and she said, wow, that's amazing. I love that my destiny is going to be down, you know, in my hands. You know, it's not going to be up to someone else or another heat or anything. Brisa and Lakey are going to surf off for that last spot in the final 5. You couldn't actually write that any better.
That's how we like it, right? We want to finish it. We want to settle it in the water, you know, not after the fact, because it's going to get settled in the water. Quarterfinal number 4, Pete.
Well, and that's the changes. That's what's happening with this cut, the midseason cut, and this point right here where we're at the end of the season. We're making it into that WSL Final 5. All these changes are exciting, and we get to see this happen and unfold for us right here at the end of the road.
Yeah, and speaking of Final 5, a guy that already came into Tahiti with a spot clinched in the Final 5, Jack Robinson. But with his performance today, he's ensured at least a number 2 seed when we look at that Final 5, because, Peter, Jack came with some action.
Yeah, this started this well. I mean, obviously a major jump happened here. We had a couple holds. We had to wait and find out how we were going to get here, but finally it turned on. And Jack found this wave, and what an amazing wave. I mean, he was 5 feet away from Nat Young, who had priority. He was actually outside of priority to be able to pick this one up, and it's just all about positioning. He found this little cornice right there to get him in and underneath it, and he surfed so well. This was the backup score of a 6.83. Ended up getting an excellent heat score of 16 point plus. So he is the man to beat right now just by his performances today.
And that was his debut performance here at in Tahiti in this event. And, coming up against Michelle Perez, the local wild card, they got the ball rolling at the end there, but look at this Final 5 picture for the men. Yeah,
Felipe Toledo's in there, but Jack Robinson's in there. They're going to be battling for that number 1 seed. Jack already advancing into the round of 16. And as we look also to some of the contenders, Ethan Ewing, Italo Ferreira, we're going to see them in the elimination round, Pete.
Yeah, they didn't get through their heats today. I mean, they didn't win their heat, so that means they're going to be surfing in the elimination round. We have yet to see Griffin, Kanoa, Callum, and the rest of the crew here surf their opening heats. So there's still a lot to happen, and in hopes that tomorrow the surf's there for us.
And at this point, the number 1 seed, Felipe Toledo, his destiny is in his hands. He's in the next, when we resume competition, he's going to be first up, and he's got quite a heat. Kelly Slater, as well as the 2004 runner-up Nathan Hedge. This heat is a super heat, Laura.
This is so cool. It's, Felipe, number 1 in the world against the veterans. Both of these surfers so well established, 11-time world champ, and Hedgie, one of my favorites. I can't wait to watch him charge, and we know they actually paddled out in the heat, but obviously the calls and the wind had different plans for them. But
well, they had just watched Jack surf those heats. You saw also Kaoli Vaz, who was another standout earlier today. I mean, the swell kind of jacked, and there was those two heats back to back, and they would have been really excited. I mean, and that's the thing about like these holds that play mentally on you. You're like, oh, on, off. It's half hour. And even for us, it's a little bit. But imagine sitting in the water waiting to get primed up for your heat. So I think it's all good and well because we're going to get to sleep on it. And I think guaranteed tomorrow we're going to be up early. We're going to see an early heat. Now, Kelly is going to, he's not a morning person, so he's going to have to get to bed early tonight.
Yeah, the start-stop is a mental game. But looking towards tomorrow, Peter, we got to look at Surfline and see what they're telling us about the possibilities of running tomorrow. Let's look at our Surfline forecast.
I will say they have been ultra consistent in telling us that this swell was going to be arriving today. They also told us that the winds were going to be iffy no matter what, and guess what? They were iffy all day today. We had west, we had north, we had offshores, but tomorrow has been consistently east-southeast winds. I mean, not sorry, east-north-east winds, which is perfect for here, and that's going to be offshore. So I think when you have consistency in the forecast all the way through like they've had in this one, we got tomorrow and the next day, we're going to have quality conditions, we're going to have swell, so we're going to see some action.
Oh, I can't wait. It's so exciting, and we have everything lined up to finish this off. So that's looking towards the future, right? But
one more sleep, and then we'll be there.
One more sleep?
Yeah, one more sleep.
Yeah. And looking good for tomorrow.
It's like Christmas tomorrow.
It is.
Excellent.
Exactly. Oh, but you know what? Let's celebrate some of today's moments, because when we look at our top 5 today, we got a loaded top 5 for you. Peter, we're starting off with Kaoli Vaz, the wild card, coming through with some big scores, and the local knowledge paid off.
We called this heat, and all of a sudden he went out there, and in 5 waves I think he had in this heat, he had the best scores that we had seen all morning long, super consistent. It felt like the swell jumped in this heat. The energy level definitely rose, and he rose to the occasion, and he did not do one step wrong the entire heat, and he's going to be tough to beat here.
Even switching stance on the takeoff, threading the barrel. Didn't even count this in his top 2 rides. A dominant performance by the young Tahitian. Number 4, Laura, Vahine Fierro, the wild card, taking down Joanne Lefebvre.
Yes, this was the first heat of the morning, and we had big expectations, you know, Vahine getting out there, but the girls, the lineup, it didn't really happen for them. It just didn't, you know, they were out of rhythm. Joanne Defay lost her board multiple times. Unfortunately, just couldn't get under the hood on this wave, but the girls charged nonetheless, you know, just going for it, but unfortunately not being able to get any big scores. Vahine, with this here threading the needle, that was the highest score of the heat. She came in and said, you know, I just had to get the job done. I've got a lot to look forward to in the quarterfinals, but I cannot wait to see.
Yeah, she's going to be coming up against Carissa Moore. Number 3, Peter, Brisa Hennessy with a late charge.
Oh, this was awesome. It really was. I mean, this was something that needed to happen for her. She has been, you know, having a bit of struggles through the last events, trying to hold on to that final 5 position. She had to get this done, and she got the wave gifted to her. Now it feels like to her that this is something that's giving gifted to her. Now she just has to go, okay, it's happening. It's you know, this wave right here was just an amazing display, and I think that she understood the gravity of the situation and it was able to perform.
Number 2, Laura, Tatiana Weston-Webb and Stephanie Gilmore clinched their spots in the final 5.
Yes, Tatiana and Steph, will be seeing them once again at lower trestles. Both of Tatiana today probably not having the heat that she expected. She watched Brisa get that wave right before her heat, but then just could not find the wave. But yeah, Stephanie, yesterday. Was that yesterday? The days have been long, but yeah, Steph just getting things started yesterday, making it all the way straight to the quarterfinals. We are going to see her in the days to come, but the pressure will be off.
Oh yeah, Steph Gilmore and Tatiana Weston-Webb locked in again to the final 5. Number 1, the wave of the day, Peter, a 9.43 for Jack Robinson.
Incredible. I mean, it didn't even feel like that was today, did it? I mean, that was an exceptional wave and just came right to him. I mean, again, sitting outside of priority, was in the cup, read it so well. He has been touted as one of the best out here, yet never actually had to compete with a jersey on. It feels like he's been doing it for years, but ultimately this was the first heat that he's been able to compete out here, and he did not disappoint. 6.83 here, the 9.43. I mean, just 2 beautiful waves and just made it look so easy.
Yeah, Jack, you know what? Teahupo'o turned on for Jack Robinson. It was almost like this energy feeling, and we've seen that before with Jack, where he's got that X factor, that zenness, but also that just in touch with nature, Laura, and that he can turn the switch on.
He's got the phone, special phone, dial a bomb.
So cool, it really is. I mean, it's fun to watch people that have that connection, especially with a place like this.
Yeah, well, Maruru, Laura, Maruru, Peter. Let's do it again tomorrow. Remember, 7 o'clock check-in. We may be going here. We're probably going to be going here. Aloha, Yorana. Enjoy the end of the day highlights.
I'm hungry.
Stop number 10 on the World Surf League Championship Tour, the Outerknown Tahiti Pro. Swell has arrived over the evening.
This is the moment we've been waiting for.
On. Vahine Farrell, she is poised to break dreams at this location. Brisa Hennessy, chance for pull into the barrel, pulls into the barrel, comes to that section. And Brisa Hennessy answering the call.
I know, like, I have it within me, and I know all the girls have it within them. And it's just like bringing that out and showing the world what we can do.
Blakey Peterson stays in contention for the WSL Final 5.
Opening round for the men. Herrera, air reverse.
Love it. Why not?
Boss taking off switch foot, switches into the barrel. Now it's showtime for the young Tahitian.
Deep one here, setting up for Jack Robinson. This is what we came to Tahiti for. This copyrighted event broadcast is produced by the World Surf League for broadcast around the world and may not be retransmitted, reproduced, rebroadcast, or otherwise distributed or used in any form without the written consent